Hey all, welcome back to another episode of Brave Kids Art Club. My name is Brad and I am so excited to draw with you today. Are you guys excited to draw? Awesome, okay, well, this animal, I'm excited to draw because so many of you guys have picked this animal and have requested that we draw it, but it kind of creeps me out. I'm a little scared of this animal, just a little bit scared of this animal. So I'm gonna get past my fears and draw this amazing animal because even though it is a little scary, it's a really amazing animal and it's gonna be a whole lot of fun to draw. So let me give you a few hints to see if you can figure out which animal we're drawing. This animal can get up to 30 feet long. Some of them live on the ground and some live up in the trees. And they swallow their prey whole. Do you know which animal we're talking about? That's right, we are drawing a python today, which is a really big snake, and there's tons of different types of pythons. So we're gonna draw kind of a generic python with some really cool markings because a lot of them have really fun markings on their back. So let's make sure we have everything ready to go and let's get started. All right, we're gonna need a nice clean sheet of paper to start. Then we're gonna need a sharpened pencil with some type of eraser, either on it or just another loose eraser because we're gonna be doing some sketching with our pencil, which means we're gonna make some mistakes. And at the very end, we're gonna wanna erase all the sketch out from underneath anyways because we're gonna be using our dark marker or a pen to do our outline for the final outline. So we'll wanna use those erasers to get rid of all of that. And then at the very end, we're gonna do my favorite part, which is doing some coloring. And I have a bunch of markers. You might have crayons or paints or colored pencils. Whatever you want to use is just fine. All right, so let's start with our sketch. And we always start with the sketch because we want to make sure it all fits within our page, and also because we're going to make some mistakes while we're trying to figure out what it looks like. And luckily we're doing a snake, so you can kind of decide which kind of shape you'd like to do. Now, I'm probably going to do something that fits a lot of the body in here, so I might just do something real wavy like this. I'm going to draw it light because I'm going to have to go over it again. I want to do something like this. Ooh, like that. That was kind of fun to draw. Now just draw some loops somewhere. You can have them overlapping. You can have them be just a big circle, a big spiral. You could do that as well. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you'd like to do. Now that I have my main shape of my snake, I can go ahead and add things like the head, which is over here. Now if I was to look down on this head, it would have kind of a triangular shape. That's one of the ways you can tell that it's a python. So if I was to look down, it would look kind of like this. Kind of triangular, like that. We just drew an oval here for now, but we'll fix that. We'll add more detail to that. In the meantime, we need to figure out how to thicken up our body. So we drew just a shape to kind of get an idea of where the body's going to go. But now we need to thicken it up to make sure that it goes kind of thinner at the neck, and then it gets bigger throughout the body. Towards the middle, it's the thickest, and then it's going to get thinner again back towards the tail. So that's going to be the struggle, is trying to make sure that it does that. Does it have to? No. But if you wanted to make it look more realistic, yeah, that's what you try to do. All right, let's do this. We're going to kind of go like this. Now, because we're sketching, this makes it a whole lot easier. So I try to work on both sides of it, both sides of my line. Kind of use that as like the middle, like bones of what my snake was going to be like. So I'm going to curve it around here. Maybe I need to make it a little higher up to make it thicker. It might take a few times to get it just right, and that's okay. We can make a lot of lines. But now I really want it to start getting thicker right here. So maybe I kind of bring this in a little bit. And then I go down over here and realizing it's going to get thinner over there. So if I want to make it thicker, and then it's going to get kind of thinner in here. But I want to make sure it's getting smaller and smaller. It's called tapering. It's where something starts big and then it gets smaller. So we're going to taper it off on the tail. Like we draw tails all the time when I mention tapering. That's what we're doing right here. So there we go. And we'll just get to the very end. And there we have it. So now if it helps you, which I'm sure it will because it definitely helps me, is erasing all the stuff in the middle. You want to get all that lines, all the line work that you don't want to keep. You just want to erase that it gets out of their way. There's 41 different types of pythons, 41 different species of python. A lot of them have these really cool markings on their back. They're really camouflaged for when they go in the trees or if they go on the ground. but they're usually really big too. They're usually really, really big. And I think today I'm going to be drawing with some cool markings on there. So that kind of rules out another really, really cool python, which is like a green tree python, which are really, really cool. And maybe we'll still do one of those down the road. But right now I'm going to draw more of a generic python with some cool marks on the back. All right, so now let's work on this head over here. We need to make a little bump there for the eyes because we're going to do a kind of a bigger eye on here to make them kind of friendly. So we're going to do on the end of here, we're going to add just a little bump right there. That's going to be where their eye's going to live. And then we're going to do a little curve right here. And then we'll bring it back this way, like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the edge of that oval that I already drew. I'm going to bring it down and kind of follow it under here, all the way to connect to the snout or the nose of our python. Now they have those eyes set on the top of their head, which is kind of cool because when we drew like alligators and I think it was hippos, so we noticed that they could sneak up on prey in the water by just keeping the top of their head and their eyes out of the water while they swam around. Well, most pythons are really good at swimming. And they can do kind of the same thing. All right, so the bottom there is kind of bugging me. It's a little bit too rounded. So I'm going to kind of bring it in a little bit like that. And that's okay. We can make changes like that as we're going. All right, now let's draw the mouth on here. It's a really big mouth. Now, why do you think they have a giant mouth? Well, it's because when they eat their food, they actually use their big body to wrap around their prey. Whatever they want to eat, they wrap around it, they could suffocate it, and that's how they kill it. And then they actually swallow the whole thing whole. They don't even chew it up. So their mouth, actually they have like right on the side here where their jaws are, they can stretch really, really, really far. And they can allow themselves even to sometimes like swallow something as big as like a small cow. Then they have to go lay somewhere and let the food digest in their stomach. That's kind of crazy. All right, we'll draw the little nostril on there. All right, it's looking pretty good. There's not a whole lot to a snake when we're drawing them, so that's kind of fun. We get to do it real quick. But now I'm going to add maybe some cool markings, like these little shapes here all over. Now you can have little diamonds. I'm going to have kind of little spots all over here, which are kind of fun to do. You can choose to do whatever markings you want to do. Maybe look up some pictures of pythons and see what kinds you want to do. Pythons have these big bodies and they don't really move all that fast. They actually can only move about 1 mile per hour. Really slow. I feel like it's more like a worm where they just kind of lift up their body. They have big rib cage and they can lift up their stomachs and it kind of pulls them forward. So they kind of go fa-boom, 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 instead of like the like wiggling across. Did you get all that? So they're really, really slow, but they don't really need to be too fast. They can hang out in things like trees or on the ground. They use their tail to kind of lure prey over to them, and then they bite them and then wrap around them. See, now you see why I'm a little bit afraid of these things? All right, so I might do some more markings here on the face. I'm kind of tempted to do it all with my markers in the coloring stage, so I don't want to go too much further on this. So I think what we should do next is just jump straight into our marker, and we'll outline this so we'll have something to color in. So let's start here with the tail. I'm going to come back around over here. Let's see if I can get this in a straight shot right here. Oh, I cut that off a little short. It's okay. I'll make up for it on this side. We make mistakes all the time when we're creating, but it's okay. We don't need to let everybody know or rip it all up. We can just call it our own. All right, let's do the other side of our snake body. I've actually held a giant python before when I lived in the Philippines, and it was kind of scary, but it was actually really cool. Because they are really cool animals. No matter how freaked out I am of some of these animals, I can always admire how amazing they truly are. Because animals, they have like superpowers that I wish I had. I'm going to round off the nose there. And then we'll bring it back. And we'll curve it around for that jaw right there. The big happy eye. I always make him have bigger eyes with some bigger pupils, which is the middle black part of your eye. because it makes him look friendlier. Look how friendly this python looks. He wouldn't eat a person that's 6'3" and likes to wear red sweatshirts. I hope not. All right, we're gonna draw a little nostril right there. Now they really don't smell the same way we do. Even though they do have the nostril there, they more smell with their tongue. And then of course they can listen to vibrations or feel the vibrations on the ground to kind of know where things are as well. As I go through here, this may be a good time for you just to kind of catch up if you're behind or if you're right on top of it. And maybe you're saying, I don't want to watch him do all of these little spots. I'm already done and I'm ready to go. Well, in that case, I'll just fast forward this. I'm going to do my erasing after I'm done with my pen. I'll start coloring and you start coloring and we'll meet up right after. How's that sound? Awesome. Okay, we'll do that. I'm finished with my coloring. Oh, I'm really happy with how my python turned out. Except I just noticed something. I forgot the tongue. I really wanted to stick the tongue out. So let me draw that really quick. It's really easy. All you have to do is go like this, and we'll have the tongue real quick. It's like a little backwards S with a little forked tongue on the end. It means it's got a little cut right out of the middle, like a little slit out of it. And then I'm going to color that in, or I'm going to outline that. Let's see if I can do this really quick. Little outline. It's kind of hard here on the edge of my sketch pad. There we go. Now I'm going to erase that sketching underneath, the pencil underneath, and I have room for a pink little tongue in here. There we go. Now I'm officially finished with my python. Well, I think I've even come up with a name for my python. I think I'm gonna call him Paul. He looks like a Paul. Well, that was a whole lot of fun to draw, and I'm really proud of what I made, and hopefully you are too. And because we're proud of what we do as artists, we need to sign our work so everybody else knows how proud we are of what we made. So I'm gonna put my name maybe like right here. There we go. My initials are down. It means my project is finished, and I'm happy with it. Well, thank you guys so much for drawing with me today. This has been a blast. We do this every single day, Monday through Friday, so join me. Subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed this video in particular, please go ahead and give it a like. That really helps me do what I'm doing here, because I love doing this. I love drawing with you, and thank you for showing up. So remember, before I leave you, be brave, be creative, but most importantly, be you. Alrighty, we'll see you guys next time.